10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Wrestle Talk Podcast family. Welcome to another great episode of Wrestle Talk Podcast, episode number 548. And tonight, joining me for a little bit here will be the one, the only Ace, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be joining me till Gabriel Arsene can get in here. You know, after all, he don't know how to tell time. So, Ace, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing good. A little sore, but I'm good. Yeah.
So, it is great to have you here. We have one heck of a show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we have, as always, we're going to have Dewan Mills come in, talk a little FWWC. He's got plenty of stuff to talk about there. And, you know, we're going to be joined tonight by Luke Skywalker Roberts, who's going to be updating us on the Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame. You know, just this past weekend, they had their Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It was broadcast live right here on Wrestle Talk Podcast. So hopefully you got to catch that. And so he's just going to recap that for us. And then later tonight, in our second hour, we have a great guest lined up. He is, he's basically around the Carolinas, and he's been in the wrestling business for over 14 years. He's gotten so many titles and everything. He is the one and only, the American Diesel dump truck. So can't wait to talk to him. So much going on tonight, Ace.
Oh, yeah. Well, before we get started, as always now, we got to throw it out there and thank our sponsors. So let me bring this up. And all right, Wrestle Talk Podcast would like to thank all of our great sponsors: Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Production, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. We'll talk to them here in a little bit. Doomed Outfitters, owned by yours truly, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. Guys, these are our great sponsors. Without these, we would not be able to do what we're doing, especially for almost 550 episodes. We are 2 episodes away from 550. That's amazing. That's historic for any show, really, for any broadcast, any show, anything. 550 episodes.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, can't wait to get there. Can't wait to get even further, you know, episode 600, 800, you know, so many episodes to come. And, you know, we got some great guests lined up along the way for you, and just can't wait to get to them. But when you talk about stuff you can't wait to get to, I know some people would disagree, but, you know, it's such a great time when we get to honor our country being America.
That's right.
So we have to play our national anthem here. So if you please remove your hats, place your hands over your hearts for our national anthem. brings a tear to your eye or blood to your ears every single time. One or the other, but
One of my
you know.
favorite versions outside of Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock.
You know, but there was another great version too by the great Carl Lewis, and unfortunately we can't play that one anymore. We used to love playing that one all the time.
Yeah, we need to bring Jimi Hendrix. That's what we need to do. We need to find if we were able to bring Jimi Hendrix like that version, because it was just the off deal he done at Woodstock. I wonder if we could play that one.
Maybe if he did it live, we could maybe do something. So, shout out to Assad, checking in. Great to have you checking in. Nick Luke checking in from Georgia, out your way there.
Yep, just up the road.
And
as always, gotta love the guy. I mean, regardless, he just always got something to say. It's hilarious. I mean,
must be a Georgia thing, you and him, y'all just.
It is. If you could say something, say it. It's a Georgia thing. We just say whatever comes up, and we like to ag it on just a little, just a hair.
So, so there is just so much to talk about in the world of professional wrestling, and that's one of the things we are here to do, is just to talk about all that great news here. And so let's go ahead and hit that high spots music by the one and only DJ Money and get into some high spots.
Mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like clear chops. We dog shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like I'm running speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops. Like a clock flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast. Now they know we about to start the show.
Yeah, I love it. I kind of watched what I was doing there, man. I went to do the headbang thing, and I'm like, okay, I kind of forgot that, I had some issues there. You get caught up in the moment, man.
I know that music it just hits so hard, I tell you. But let's go ahead and see if we can get this randomizer going, and what has it got for us today?
Oh, man.
WWE has continued scheduling major events opposite AEW shows. Is this healthy competition good for wrestling? Well, that is a hard-hitting question to start off with, I tell you. Ace, do you have a take on this one?
I do. Okay, here's my thoughts. Business is business, period. That's just how it is. And for decades now, WWE has been the show, and still to the day is the show to compete with. So honestly, they could do what they want until you can beat their numbers and you can beat their ratings and outdo them on the worldwide platform. You're just going to have to stand in line and wait on them to do what they're going to do. And that's with any business. I mean, I don't know. Business is business, and right now they're winning. Like always, they're making smart business decisions. They're doing everything they need to do, and it is a competition. So, do I believe that in the wrestling world, everybody has this stupid idea that they should be fair to the other promotions. They should be fair to this and fair to that. Why? They're in it for the money. They're in it for the viewership and the ratings, which they have no trouble getting. But they're in it for the business aspect of it. I don't believe they should have to be fair to anybody. Either step up your game and outdo them, or step aside. That's the way I see that one.
And where this question comes from is in September, AEW has All Out, September 20 something, and WWE once again has booked Worlds Collide. The very same night. So same night, same time. And so there's been a lot of talk about that, and when you look at that, a certain amount of competition can be healthy. And, so yeah, the competition can be good, but at the same time, I feel who really loses in that situation would be the wrestling fan themselves, because now you're making them choose. You're saying,
Yeah.
okay, are you going to watch AEW or are you going to watch the WWE pay-per-view? When they're both the same time, that fan is the one that has to choose.
Yeah.
There is so much great wrestling going around and so much great content. You really hate to see when they book on top of each other, because there are a lot of fans out there that like to watch both promotions. So is it really fair to make the fan choose?
Yeah, because I
But
mean, well,
at the
yeah, I
same
believe
time,
that
you
it's
do
fair.
have the replays though.
Yeah, well, I believe it's fair for the simple fact that, like I said, either A, you're going to put on a better show to compete with them, because if they're booked at the same time, the fans have to choose. So, what are you going to do as a business? You're going to put on the better product to make sure that your fans are watching your show instead of the other. At the same time, that worked for the Monday Night Wars. And if anybody grew up during the Attitude Era, grew up during the Monday Night Wars, that was some of the best times of wrestling. And they were literally one after another. They were right there at each other. So you was watching one show on one channel, flipping it over here, watching it on this channel, and going back and forth all night on Monday nights. And I believe that's kind of what that's going to, I think that chemistry that had can possibly play out now. And I think in a lot of ways it would help the AEW, because think about like the amount of talent, the amount of actual drive that these guys have got to put into their shows. So once they start doing this and they start picking up their game, AEW is going to skyrocket. And I believe that in a way, that's a very smart move for WWE, because if you want real competition, real ratings, what do? You make the competition better. So that's kind of what the deal is. And I believe that's a very smart business move to make your competition better, make them step up their game, so that way it brings in viewerships. It brings up just so much more potential for crossovers, for all sorts of stuff. I mean, for right now, the sky's the limit with all sorts of stuff they could do with this, constantly doing it at the same time.
Yeah, and like I say too, back then when you were talking about, with the Monday Night Wars and stuff, if you missed it, you just missed it, because there wasn't a replay. Now there are so many replays, and that you can go back and watch it later. You don't have to catch it right then and there. I mean, even with these PLEs, you can buy a replay of a PLE and watch it later. So you don't lose out quite as much. But I still think, I still hate having fans having to choose one or the other,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what they're doing. But
oh yeah,
as a fan, watch one, DVR the other, watch that. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. With the replays, you can do that. With DVR now, you can do that. So you don't lose out quite as much. But let's go ahead and see what else we have here in our randomizer tonight. So we have, with his recent run in WWE, what does Joe Hendry have to do in order to avoid fading into the mid card or worse? That's an interesting question, so many people have come in and they've been on fire when they came in, and then just faded into mid card. I mean, as much as I hate to keep throwing him out there, look at LA Knight. LA Knight came out, he was on fire, he had all the fans behind him. He was the best thing out there. And LA Knight, he's still a good performer. I like LA Knight. I think he should be a lot further than where he is, but kind of look at where he's been relegated lately.
Well, you got to look at it from what they want out of their career. You're still being put in title matches. You're being put in the main event. You're in the show, in the ring, in programs with the top stars in the business. And it doesn't matter who the top star is at the time. LA Knight's right there with him. Whether he wins or loses, he's right there with the top star. He's where he needs to be. Whether or not they pull the trigger and give him a title, he may not never need the title. When it comes to Joe Hendry, I don't think he needs to do anything. I really believe that, just from my opinion, I believe that he is a prime case of them pulling the trigger way too soon, putting these guys on the main roster when they're not ready. And I'm not saying he's not a big talent. I'm not saying the fans aren't behind him. Having a catchy phrase and having a catchy gimmick is great, but I don't believe that he is a top star material. I don't believe that he needs to be in the main event. He needs to be in the mid card. Let him have a run in the mid card for a while. Let him actually build that character, put his dues in on the main roster instead. And I think that this is what every stupid fan on the internet thinks. And I call them stupid because, God forbid, us that grew up without the internet, we never knew behind the scenes kind of stuff. Everybody now thinks they know everything about wrestling, and they don't know squat about the business. They don't know anything behind the scenes other than what they show on TV. Some of us that has worked the business, some of us that has been in the business, that really has been, put the grind in and stuff. We know how this stuff works. So you don't just because you come from NXT and jump onto the main roster does not mean you deserve a title shot. It does not mean you need to be put in the main event against Roman Reigns. And it definitely don't mean that you're supposed to be the next Rock or Austin. That means that you have a chance to pay your dues in the main deal on the big screen and actually build your character to be something better. And I think that's where a lot of these people fall flat. They they create the character in NXT. They jump to the main roster thinking that's still going to work. And I'm going to be the first one to say it, and I'll probably get a lot of heat from it. He's corny. He is one of the lamest characters there. And even though he's got a lot of talent, he's lame. Okay, how far do you really think that gimmick's really going to work? It's already kind of fading out. People really don't have the hype for him that they had back in NXT. And like I've explained before, when you have a small crowd with the same group in the same building nonstop, you cannot call that getting over with the crowd. Okay, you got over with the crowd at McDonald's. Whoop-de-doo. Now get out there in front of the whole world and show out. He's yet to do that. I don't think he's ready for it. I really think they pulled the trigger too quick. He's mid-card at best, and I think until he changes his character, takes it more seriously, and develops better as a more serious character, he's not going to be a main eventer.
Well, and I tell you, honestly, our guest tonight, the American Diesel dump truck, he's already sitting back there in the green room. I see him back there. I see a lot of head nodding going on. And, he seems to be in agreement with a lot of the stuff you're saying. So, we're going to bring this question back when we talk to him and get his thoughts on it, because he seems to have a strong opinion that is agreeing a lot with you, it seems. So, but yeah, and one thing that you mentioned, is you mentioned these guys that, they have their gimmick, they have their little niche, and that's exactly what Joe Hendry has. He has his gimmick, he has his niche, and that's what's brought him to the main roster. But he is going to end up pigeonholed, or he is going to end up only a mid-carder if he doesn't go above that niche.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to find himself and not just the gimmick, or he's going to get stuck. And I think that's what's happened to a lot of them. A lot of people have come out and their gimmick has caught on, and they've said, oh, we have got to take these guys to main roster. Their gimmick is getting over so much. But then a gimmick can only carry you so far.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't get out of that gimmick, if you don't get out of that pigeonhole, you're going to be stuck. And I could see him being one of those stars. I'm sure there's a lot of the Wrestle Talk family that probably will throw some hate my way saying that, because I know a lot of them think Joe Hendry is just the best thing since sliced bread. But, I just.
And when I'll bring up something that happened and he's a WWE legend, he's a WCW legend. Look at what happened with Goldberg. Goldberg had that gimmick and it was pushed down everybody's throat, and it worked for that particular gimmick. What happened when he got in the ring with Steven Regal and that character was supposed to have been taken seriously? He was exposed for not being ready. And I think that's kind of what it was. It wasn't he couldn't handle the star power. He had the crowd. He had the power. He beat Hogan. He did all this stuff. But when it come down to actually knowing what he was doing and really being where he needed to be to carry the company, it showed a lot of his flaws when he got in the ring with William Regal. And that story is right now is infamous. I mean, everybody knows the story. Us that grew up watching it and we knew what happened. I believe that's what's happening with a lot of the NXT guys. They're great because they're in a place where you are building and developing the character. If you're the best of, let's be honest, if you're the best of the worst, okay, if you're the best student at a preschool, that doesn't mean you throw them in high school and expect them to hang with the high school kids. That's just not going to work, So I believe that's what happened with them, and I believe that they really need to take a lot more time with NXT guys and really help them take their character to a different level before they put them on the main roster.
And I actually had an indie promoter now. Most people know, I don't wrestle. I am a commentary. I'm a commentator. I do commentary. I don't actually wrestle, but I had a indie promoter that met me and said, "I want you to come work for me. I'm going to put you in the ring, and these little guys just beat up on you, and then you splash them and take the win." And I was like, and how long is that going to last? Because I know as a fan, yeah, the first few times that happens, they're going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to be something.
Mm-hmm.
But then after it happens over and over and over, eventually it's going to be, well, this is boring.
Yeah, you kind of know what to expect after a while. And
yes, so I mean, you got to know where to go from there. Otherwise, a gimmick is just going to pigeonhole you, and it's going to burn out, and you're going to get nowhere. So
even Hogan, and even Hogan's character faded out, and that's why, I mean, come on, his heel turn was as big as it was because, let's be honest, at the time that Hogan turned, even as a kid, who wasn't really getting sick of the whole eat your vitamins, saying your prayers? I'm not saying that wasn't a good message, but the Hulk Hogan image he had at the time was kind of getting very corny. The fans had started growing. The atmosphere of wrestling had started changing. You had people like Stone Cold over here and The Rock and everybody else who took it to a completely different level outside of saying your prayers, eating your vitamins. The hero just wasn't there no more. And I believe that's why it worked so good for Hogan. But even Hogan's character, the original Hulk Hogan character, started getting stale. As big as he was, it started getting stale, and people realized that. So it's all about what you can do with your character and how to evolve.
Exactly. So, I think we beat this one to death for now. So, like I say, we do want to bring that back when we get our guest in here, because he seemed to have a take on it, and I want to get his take on it. But let's go ahead and see what else we got here.
Oh, did it pop up? Oh, there it is.
With several recent departures from TNA, including Sinners and Saints, do you think the company is clearing space for a roster refresh, or should fans be concerned about the number of exits? And that is that's an interesting question. But, in my opinion, I don't know that the fans should hit the panic button. Just look at all the releases WWE's done. You look at releases that have happened in AEW. I wouldn't say to hit the panic button over all the releases. It's, it is what it is. People are going to go elsewhere. People are going to decide, I don't want to be in this company anymore. I want to try this one, or, they decide to retire, whatever. And you kind of got to refresh your roster ever so often. If you don't, then like we were saying earlier, it's going to get stale.
Oh, yeah.
And people are going to get bored watching it, and they're going to look for the entertainment elsewhere. Now, have there been people that have been released way too soon that, they've shown up elsewhere and fans have kind of followed? Sure, that's happened. And that's expected. But I think it's just, they're refreshing their roster and people are wanting to move on elsewhere. And so I don't think there's reason to hit the panic button.
I agree. I don't believe that there's reason to hit a button, just to freak out automatically, because TNA has always been one of those groups that has found a way to reinvent and bounce back. And even if they're losing their roster due to contract disputes or their stars moving to something else, TNA has always been able to bring in stars. They've always been able to create stars that has gotten over and moved on to bigger companies. And the guys that are leaving, the ones that have been mentioned, and I got a list of them. I actually had it written down. The guys that has left TNA has actually moved on to some of these bigger companies, and they're doing good for themselves. So yeah, it's time to refresh. You got to build bigger stars, or you got to build some kind of star to move on to that next level. And even if TNA never gets it, real big, at least they can take credit for building and creating these stars that has moved on to bigger promotions. No need to panic. I mean, just let it roll. It happens, and let's be honest, not too many people are just swamping to watch TNA right now. So what does it really matter?
Yeah. And I mean, they just switched TV deals not too long ago. Mm-hmm. And so, with that, they're going to gain new fans with new TV deals. And obviously with new TV deals comes new budgets. So, I mean, things are going to change, and I think they'll be fine, and there's nothing to worry about,
Susie said that Karrion Kross was a huge loss to the WWE. No. Now, if TNA lost him, that's one thing. He might have been big in TNA. I have to disagree when it comes to WWE. I'm sorry. I didn't line up to buy his merchandise. I didn't buy tickets to watch Karrion Kross. He was entertaining for a little bit during certain segments, but once again, Karrion Kross and that whole list of people that everybody online was flapping and boohooing about were bathroom talents, and people don't want to accept that. I don't care what they say. Nobody showed up and bought tickets to watch either one of them. They were great to an extent, but they were fill-ins. That was it. They were fill-ins until the big stars got there. So did WWE lose anything by cutting Karrion Kross and that whole list? Even with the Wyatt Six, come on, you knew that wasn't going to work the moment they come out there. It was great for a nostalgic pop because of Bray Wyatt, but I have my own opinions about the Bray Wyatt thing. That's just me. He had a great little deal for a moment, but his little group wasn't going to last. They knew it, and they beat it pretty much to death. People got sick of it. So were any of them talents ever going to be anything outside of possibly a tag team group? Absolutely not. Were they not like singles competitors? Nope. So cut your losses, move on, and put that money invested in the people that were actually worth the money instead of people that are going to cost you money. And I believe that those kind of stars are what's going to really cost you money.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of stars, you hear them cry and complain when they're cut. Wyatt Six is a good example of it. But there's a lot of the Wyatt Six. When's the last time you saw them in a match?
Exactly.
Karrion Kross, he hadn't done a whole lot before he got cut. And then people wanted to throw a fit. Well, when's the last time you saw them? Were they making money?
Yeah.
So, like
you want to
said,
chant his name after he gets cut. I mean, and even okay, prime example, R-Truth. You want to chant the man's name after he gets cut because he's a fan favorite. Okay, but what was he really doing outside of just being comedy? He really wasn't having a lot of matches. His character got a little annoying, and it still is. It's still just a hair annoying even now. And I believe that he has a talent done better over in NWA and stuff like that, way better than what he did in WWE. He should have been one of them talents that did pull a Cody Rhodes and go to another company, rebuild his character, have the character he had back in NWA, and then come back and have the Cody Rhodes treatment. He could have pulled that off. But instead, all the fans got on there, they boo-hooed and they cried because he got cut. Okay, but you wasn't cheering his name until he got cut. Even now, when you're watching wrestling, how many times they ain't nobody, when you open that show, nobody is chanting for R-Truth. Nobody is out there buying his merchandise. I mean, from the time the show starts to the time it ends, you're either hollering for Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Slapstick, or whoever else as far as the main roster. You're not rooting for R-Truth. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is. And
yeah, and Danhausen took R-Truth's place. R-Truth can wrestle. I kind of agree, and I would like to see more of that. I really hope that's true. I want to see more of a serious R-Truth and let Danhausen be the joke. That's all he's ever going to be. I believe Danhausen, I didn't like him before he got there, and I don't like him now. He's funny. Don't get me wrong. He's entertaining. I just don't like him. R-Truth needs to be taken serious. That man was a very serious competitor over in MWA. He is a world champion, and I believe that he could be world champion material. I hate how WWE done him. I really do. Using him as a joke, that was just a waste of talent.
So much that you and I normally disagree on, but you're hitting so many points that I agree with, because honestly, I'm the same way with Danhausen. Danhausen, I thought they made too big of a deal when they brought him in. Mm-hmm. When they had him come out of that box, I was like, really? All that for him? Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like you said, he's funny. I like him from the comedic aspect, but that's all he's ever going to be. I agree with you there. And I'm sure there again, both of us are going to get a lot of hate on that, because there are so many Danhausen fans out there that are just nuts over him, but I don't see what there is to be so nuts over.
Exactly.
I mean, like I say, he is funny. He's good for comedy, but
if that's all he's going to be, put him on Saturday Night Live and let it be. I mean,
but all right, let's see what else we got here. I think we got time for a few more before we, Dwan should be joining us here soon to get a little FWWC in, and then like I say, we'll get some recap from the independent St. Louis Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'll get that right yet, but we'll get some recap off of that, and then we will get into our guest tonight, and definitely looking forward to him. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Do you want to see 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady in WWE, or should they focus on homegrown stars instead of celebrity attractions? And, I can see already, once again, our guest, he's voicing his opinions in the back there on it. Why don't you go ahead? Go ahead with this one, Ace.
Okay. I'm hands down a Tom Brady fanboy. I am. I love Tom Brady as far as, his accomplishments in football. Do they need to bring him in? I mean, WWE, it's let's be honest, it's WWE. Okay. They're going to bring in celebrities. Half of their talent has been football players before. I agree with that, but do I need to see a 40-something-year-old Tom Brady trying to get in the ring and be a wrestler? Absolutely not. Do I think they need to bring him in as possibly? I would love to see him as like a commentator. I would like to see him as like even a manager or something, playing some kind of role like a general manager. That might be acceptable because I mean he's Tom Brady. He brings that star power. Do I want to see him in the ring? Absolutely not. He was good as a quarterback. Leave it like that. You were already the greatest of all time in football. Just leave it be. Don't try to get in the ring. The feud that he's got going, honestly, is not even going to be taken serious because it's against Logan Paul of all people. I'm not taking away. I have to be the one to give the man credit. Logan Paul took to wrestling like a fish in water. I mean, the man's talented, but I don't like him. I think he's a joke, and I think he's honestly making a mockery of the business. I don't want to see him in the ring. I really don't. I don't want to see him have anything to do with any kind of programs outside of possibly being like a manager or something. That's about it.
You know, and I have to agree with you once again. You know, I do not want to see Tom Brady get in that ring. You know, obviously, we have had so many people come in and do these one-offs.
I want to jump in on this one real quick, and I have to comment on this. It said wrestlers are all we need of the celebrities. Okay, wrestlers are all we need. Most of the celebrities just need to sit ringside. Okay, this is the question I have. What are these wrestlers outside of entertainment? They are actors, they are entertainers, and they are paid script performers, just like everybody else in the entertainment world. They are celebrities. They go on shows. They go on. To say that a celebrity should not go on to WWE on the ring or and do a segment with these guys is just like saying that Roman Reigns and John Cena shouldn't appear in movies or shouldn't appear on TV shows, and especially kids shows. Disney was infamous about putting John Cena in a lot of their shows. Roman Reigns, Triple H, they were in all these little kids shows. So what are they outside of celebrities? They are entertainers. And WWE has always had celebrities. So do I believe that they should sit ringside? Absolutely not, because that's what the business is about, is entertainment. You're there to entertain. Why not have them? As far as Tom Brady, though, nah, can't have him in the ring. Sorry about it.
Yeah, but honestly, I think we've seen a lot of these one-offs. You know, we just recently had Jelly Roll, you know, and it just seems like every time you turn around, they're throwing another celebrity from another genre into WWE. You know, it used to be you'd only see that like around WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, great. That sure, do it as WrestleMania. Now, I know it seems that they are trying to turn SummerSlam into a second WrestleMania. You know, they are trying to bring in star power for that. They're trying to turn it into 2 nights. They're, you know, everything they've done with WrestleMania, they're trying to do to SummerSlam now. And I can get that, you know. If you have the bigger pay-per-views like that, you don't really have to have, or sorry, PLEs, you know, you don't really have to have as many throughout the year. And so I kind of get it, but no, I can't see bringing in so many from the outside, you know.
Yeah.
Let's limit the number of them, and let's make it a little more realistic.
Yeah, let's get back to wrestling. That's what I want to see. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's great for entertainment. Let's get back to wrestling.
I
So we
mean,
actually have our CEO from WWC backstage. Is he ready to come on?
I see a thumbs up. So
He's got a
let's go
thumbs
ahead
up.
and bring him in here. We'll get his take on this as well. So Mr. DeJuan Mills.
What's up, y'all? Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody feeling? And I did miss that hotspot question, so you guys got to inform me, but I am here. I am ready. Let's chit-chat. Let's pop it.
So the question we got up here right now is, do you want to see 7-time Super Bowl, Pro Bowl champion Tom Brady in WWE, or should they focus on homegrown stars? instead of celebrity attractions.
Oh God, why are we talking about Tom Brady, the bane of my fucking existence? Ace is yours too. Hoss is yours. Well, not now because he's part. What is he technically part owner? I mean, what is
He's a
Tom?
minority owner in the Las Vegas Raiders. So, but I think he's making a lot of decisions over there. And, I can see some things that I think are positive that I think have stemmed from him being there. So, I'm happy with him over there. Let him stay in the front office over there in Vegas. I'm good with that.
Or let him just suit up at 47 years. He can probably still do it.
He can probably still do it. Yeah.
I wasn't good with that.
I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, do it all. Shit. But I'm like you, Hoss. Let's stick to wrestling. I might be a little bit biased against Tom Brady for obvious reasons. But yeah, let's keep it wrestling, yo. Let's not bring in the outsiders.
So, all righty. Well, Mr. CEO, while we got you here real quick, you want to bring us up to date on the happenings in the FWWC?
Yeah, I got a couple of announcements tonight, a couple of breaking news announcements, if you will.
Hold on. I got something special for breaking news.
Uh-oh. Dad's on the phone. What?
All right, CEO says he's got some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we done got all high tech with that. That's neat.
Hell yeah, we did. So, a couple of announcements. First of all, Ace, I hope you are recovering better, sir. It is honestly a shame that you are currently injured, rehabbing from that injury. Unfortunately, I wish I would have had more control of that. But this is the FWWC. Anything can happen in fantasy wrestling, as we know, and we have been around for 10 plus years, many countries, many different podcasts. We have an amazing reputation as the world's premier fantasy wrestling group, all important thanks to the Wrestle Talk podcast and other different podcasts that support us and our FWWC universe. With all of that being said, Sick currently does not have an opponent right now for SummerStone to defend his hardcore title. However, we and myself, the board of directors, are going to have a conversation this weekend because though it may not be Ace, best believe, Sick, you will be defending your hardcore championship at SummerStone August 1st and 2nd. So just know that. Second bit of breaking news. We all know that Rage picked none other than El Luchador de Kansas City to face for the FWWC Heavyweight Championship at FWWC SummerStone. So what does that leave for Lecter, who is in part to this injury, who's totally responsible for this injury to Ace? And what does it do for Nightmare Jones? Nightmare Jones has hosted different events for us. Lecter's been around. I kind of thought about a special referee, something like that. But no, I want these guys to work at FWWC SummerStone. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to have what we call ourselves a number one spot match. That's right. It will be Lecter versus Nightmare Jones. The winner of that match, there can be no ties. There has to be an absolute winner in that match. Lecter versus Nightmare Jones. The winner of that match will be the number one contender for a title of their choosing. If they decide to choose the tag team championships, they must choose their partner because they have to be an established tag team, meaning that if Lecter wins the match and he wants to go for the tag titles, obviously that would be House of Horrors. Or if Jones wins the match, he's obviously been a tag team partner of El Luchador de Kansas City, none other than the Lucha Nightmares. So, with all of that being said, the number one spot match at FWWC SummerStone is signed. The ink is dry. It's good to go. We there, baby. It's on.
Wow, that sounds like it's going to be a heck of a thing.
Absolutely. Very proud. This is one of our big four events. Super hot here in Kansas City. I know it's super hot everywhere else. Ace, I know you got some words, man. And I know this is kind of bad news. I hate to do that for you, but again, I hope your rehab is going good. I hope your back heals up. And do you have anything for the universe to speak on?
Outside of just business is business. We'll put it that way. Business is business. And when business comes full circle, just best believe that there is a lot of payback, a lot of hard feelings on this one. This is not something I can take lightly. This has been a very painful situation. So, yeah, for Lecter and Sick, even if I'm not your opponent, whoever it is, just watch your back. That's all I can say. Watch your back.
Good to hear about that. Hardcore Hoss, anything for you, sir, going into FWWC Summerstone? You and Badass American Diva, who is also our international champion, will be taking on none other than Brothers in Arms, that is Bishop and Jason Curtis, for the FWC Tag Team titles. Any thoughts going into that? We're a couple of weeks away, and it's going to be cracking. Thoughts from you, sir, about your upcoming match in title defense?
Well, obviously Dark Hoss found out that, you can't just take out your opponent and not defend. Tried that with Xander Payne, and then Jason Curtis steps back up. But, it's not anything that we really got to worry about. I mean, how many times has Jason Curtis beat Haas for a title? Never. And, come after last night, once again, I've defeated Bishop, the other half of the tag team. So I'm not concerned. Tag team titles aren't going anywhere. And, well, when it comes to the other matchup for the Warriors Heart Championship,
Which I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do have some caveats for that because I knew you was going to get into that too. So this upcoming Monday will be contract signings for all of these matches. I gave the champions an opportunity to name a stipulation for their match going into FWC Summerstone. Tag team champions can name a stipulation. All that's going to go down. Heavyweight champion, whatever stipulation the champ wants to be for that match, to kind of showcase everything that's going on. I wanted that because this is a big four. It's a big deal. Now, this is obviously optional. And this has been kind of going back and forth. Again, Hoss, don't mean to cut you off, but I got to bring this up. Do you believe that Gabriel Arsene is taking you seriously as it relates to this match? Because Gabriel Arsene, who unfortunately is on a losing streak, I believe 100% isn't taking you seriously. I don't understand why. Because even he asked, well, why does that have to be a stipulation? Like, what kind of respect does this Warriors Heart Champion, which I'm not coming down on the gentleman, I'm just asking questions. Because I know I'm going to hear from him. So no, Gabriel, this is no disrespect. But we do understand that this is a Warriors Heart Championship match. The Warriors Heart Champion simplifies the core of what the FWWC means. And Gabriel fits all of those qualities. He's active. He's present. He does what he needs to do to bring eyes and attention on the FWC. And I'm putting you over, brother. Don't even worry about it. But I guess my question is this. Why Hoss? Like, you said you would rather face Bishop. Okay, we've seen that before. And Bishop beat you. So if that was for the title, then what? You would no longer be a champion. So I got to ask you, Hoss, what are your feelings about all of that going into the match? I'm not trying to start no stuff. This isn't a shoot. This is just me asking general questions about what this program means to you and what it means to Gabriel Arsene, and why is he questioning that there shouldn't be why should there be, I don't know, there doesn't have to be a stipulation, but, why wouldn't there be? Why shouldn't there be?
Honestly, no, he's not taking it seriously. Does he take anything seriously? I mean, hell, he's supposed to be here tonight. He can't tell time, but, it is what it is. And, he got to pick my opponent for last night. He picked Bishop, who he lost to. And, I defeated Bishop. And so I think Gabriel Larson has been running scared, and I think he continues to run scared. So,
Yeah, I'll be the
it
first
just
to
is
chime
what
in.
it is.
I'll be the first to chime in on this about people taking stuff serious, and I'll be the first one to give warning to anybody that don't take it serious. Look how many times that me just alone has beaten Sick by himself, beaten Lecter by himself, beaten both of them together many times, and I got too comfortable, let my guard down, and look what happened this last time. And the same, I believe, with Gabriel Arson. That's my tag team partner. That's my brother. I got to warn the guy. You cannot take this lightly. You could be at the top of the business, and we all have. Me and him both been at the top of the business. I've been at the top, and he's been at the top. And as soon as you let your guard down and you think, hey, I'm up here, I'm the man, I'm unbeatable, you're going to get beat. And I believe that that's where Arson's at right this minute. I believe that he's got to take this match seriously. He's got to take the business serious. He's jumping around all these other promotions, all this other deals, talking about, well, I'm the best over here. I'm the best over here. Well, how about actually come over here? And this is just advice from one brother to another. Be the best over here and start winning matches here as a champion before you go over there and start trying to win matches over there. That's where I'm at. I went on like a whole title without even a title, went on a whole 2-year winning streak over here. And as soon as I won a title, let my guard down and just got wiped for months at a time, went on a losing streak as a champion. So, I mean, it can happen.
Who started that losing streak?
I don't know, man.
Go.
You did. You started the losing streak. There, you got me.
But, real quick, Dewan, before we let you go, I know everybody here is hearing us talk about FWWC and everything, and there may be some that don't know what FWWC is. So why don't you fill them in real quick what the FWWC is before we let you go?
Absolutely. So people are familiar with what they are called E-Feds, and some of these different E-Feds have a different way of doing things. A lot of these different E-Feds, fantasy wrestling, whatever you want to call it, they'll submit who they think they're going to win, and then the admin does all the work for them. They pick the winner, they do the role play, things like that. Here at the FWWC, all the members have an opportunity to be creative with their own matches. We do promos, we have actual championship belts with FWWC logos on them, 10 plus years in the game. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, look us up. We're partnered with Wrestle Talk Podcast and a lot of different other substantial, incredible fantasy wrestling companies. We're legit. And to be honest with all you guys, we have the best entertainment. We have the best promos. Check out the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter. Right now is a great time because we're a couple weeks away from, again, one of our big four PLEs, FWWC Summerstone. Take a hit, baby. It's on.
All right. Well, Dewan, thank you for being here. Thank you for the breaking news there that you had, and it's always a pleasure. And we will we'll be talking with you again soon.
Now, don't forget, Gabrielle's gonna go back and look at this. Get ready, Hoss. We done poked the bear. Get ready.
Like I said, he can't even tell time.
Okay, I'm out. Now listen, Gabrielle, when you shoot that promo, listen, Hoss said that, not the CEO. Don't come for me. I'm retired. I'm not in. I'm just a booker. I'm just a booker.
Later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead now and let's bring in our next person here. We're going to bring in the one and only Luke Skywalker Roberts to talk a little bit about the recap of the St. Louis Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Gentlemen, it's been a while since I've been here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And again, you got Ace and you got Hardcore Hawk on the program. Gentlemen, how's your summer been going? It's been a while since we've talked.
It's been going okay.
It's been going. It's been going. I'm still technically on a medical leave right this minute from work. I had my checkup today, and it's doing better. I'm not as tight as far as moving around. Still got some problems with my back, and my doctor is putting me on a very strict, limited, schedule. And I'm like, well, this doesn't help because I can't stand being at home, but at the same time, you got to heal up. I'm not as young as I used to be. The good part, I guess, the blessing, the silver lining out of it was while I've been at home, I've been able to finish 4 of my books. And if y'all hadn't noticed, I've had them already published. They're on Amazon and Kindle. So if y'all get a chance, check those out. I have 4 books. 3 of them's children's books and one's a horror story. So you get a chance, check them out. I mean, being at home, I got nothing but time to write my books.
It's got to be a combination, though, man. I mean, again, have an opportunity. I saw, ironically, as I was taking care of some things for the Hall of Fame this past weekend, made it a point to go on to Amazon and look. And like I said, if you haven't had a chance to check out Ace's books yet, you need to go on to Amazon and check those out because those are really look to be amazing books. And again, the horror story, not necessarily as familiar. I saw a lot of the stuff as it relates to the children's books. And again, definitely a good read and a good pickup if you have an Amazon account, or if you don't have an Amazon account, pick them up. Great reads. Right now, we're going to be taking just a minute here and talking about the 2026 Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Again, another great turnout at Andres this past Sunday. Want to give a shout out to the Wrestle Talk podcast, as always, a strong supporter. And actually, this year, once again, the broadcast agent, if you will, for the 2026 Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. If you weren't there and you want to have that opportunity to check it out, make it a point to go onto the Wrestle Talk podcast page, and you can get it. It won't be up for long because we all know how Facebook likes to be. But again, from top to bottom, a great night of professional wrestling history, a lot of great stories, and 8 new inductees. And Boss, I know we've got some of the graphics as it relates to the Hall of Fame. So if you be so kind, we'll go ahead and kind of recap as we go along here. We can throw those graphics up on the screen as we go. The first one we're going to talk about here in just a moment once the graphic pops up here, or at least I hope so. If not, it won't be a huge deal. We talk about the Beast. This was a very heartfelt interview / induction with the Beast. Mr. GQ made it a point to tell a very genuine from the heart when it came to being the manager of the Beast. I couldn't even begin to fathom that he had been a manager of the Beast for 27 of his 36 years. I mean, again, when you spend that much time with somebody on the road and you travel to all the places that the Beast had in his career, GQ knew what was up. And again, when the Beast got up to accept his award, yes, he did cry. I mean, again, a lot of people cried on Sunday. But when it came down to it, the Beast gave a very meaningful, short, sweet, and to the heart. Again, a great choice to be inducted. And again, want to give a shout out to Beast. I know he just returned home from the ceremony late yesterday. Again, great shout out to the Beast joining the class of 2026, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Now, when you talk about our next individual here, we'll wait until the graphic pops up. Keon Option. I'm going to tell you right now, this was by far for me one of the toughest I had to put together as it comes to a presentation. Knew Keon for a number of years inside and outside of the ring, and you can tell how the Hall of Fame really brings people together. One of the people that would be considered my adversary for a number of years, Big Vic and myself did the induction. I had the opportunity again talk about what Keon Option meant, not only to pro wrestling, but what he meant to life in general. His wife and his sister accepted his induction, and again, there were a lot of people in the gallery, in attendance, who came up to us after and didn't even begin to realize how much Keon Option had made, how much of an impact he had made on life in general, let alone in the pro wrestling ranks. And again, definitely a very welcome recipient of the next President's Award. Our next inductee that we're going to talk about here that was inducted was Johnny Ramirez, and this one was another one that was very unique. When you sit there and you look at the 2 men who were responsible for this induction, big time Jim Harris, the executive director of the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and receiving for Johnny Ramirez was Herb Simmons, the longtime promoter of SICW. And I mean, again, if you didn't know who Johnny Ramirez was, you got a history lesson this past Sunday, an opportunity to learn about what Johnny Ramirez brought to the industry of professional wrestling. And as we saw on Sunday, a lot of people walked out with a new appreciation for what Johnny Ramirez brought to the professional wrestling industry over the course of his career. Next one we're going to talk about here on the screen is Steve Montana. He closed out the show, and again, another one, short, simple, and to the point. I find it interesting that all the things that he accomplished in the wrestling industry, and he made it a point to share that his scariest story was, or scariest moment in the wrestling industry was being told he had to slam the Beast. And that got a pretty good laugh out of the crowd because Steve Montana is a huge guy, and you would figure with his all of his muscles and his strength that wouldn't be a problem for the Beast to be slammed by Steve Montana. But again, he was very quick and to the point, acknowledged everybody like he was in his career. He was very straightforward. He told it how it was, and accepted his induction into the Hall of Fame. Class 2026. Our next inductee that we're going to talk about here on the screen is Big Bad Ben. And this one, again, if you know anything about professional wrestling on the St. Louis independent scene, Big Bad Ben made a statement. He was the one, as they say, literally and figuratively, broke the mold when it came to professional. And there were a lot of individuals that were there. When you talk about the inductee, or the inductor, I should say, the Human Wrecking Ball Pete Mann, a man who spent a lot of time traveling this country with Big Bad Ben. You had Sadie Blaze, who accepted the induction for Big Bad Ben. I know for a fact that we had the likes of Sean Vincent in the house. We had Curtis Wilde in the house. You had Jackal in the house. You had the newly crowned Central States champion for SICW. Jason Breed was in the house, among others. This was one of those where Gateway Championship Wrestling was more than a promotion that changed the industry. It was a family. And to have all these individuals being able to be there and accept their, and not necessarily accept, but to support Big Bad Ben's induction into the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame was definitely a very welcome sight when it came to all of those in attendance. Our next inductee that we're going to be hopefully bringing up here on the screen is Marcus Mansfield, a man who's actually been a guest, much like the Beast and Steve Montana on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And this one was very close to home. JD Hall, man who had a very long history with Marcus Mansfield, considered him to be a mentor, a friend, almost like a big brother, and gave a very much from the heart speech, talking about how important Marcus Mansfield was to professional wrestling. He was talking about how he believed in his family, he leaned on his family, he leaned on his faith, and Carla Garth came up and accepted the award on behalf of her late husband. And again, another great inductee when it comes to the class of 2026. We've got another one that's going to pop up here on the screen, Tom Simon. What more can I say about our friend Tom Simon, multi-time guest here on the show? And from top to bottom, it was a great experience. He had longtime friend, former promoter, long personality, had been a commentator for World League Wrestling. I believe actually that was World Legion Wrestling. He's been a commentator for the MVWA, been a commentator for USA Championship Wrestling, Steve Murphy. Steve Murphy really just kind of took some time to kind of remember all the road stories, remember all the different individuals who impacted not only Tom's career, but his career as well. And interesting side note, shout out to Tom Simon. I don't know if he's watching the show tonight or not. I know he got back home late yesterday, but as we can see here as well, technology is great when it is, and we had everything hooked up and ready to go. Tom Simon wound up giving a great rendition of the national anthem. The crowd was very, very impressed with his vocal ability, but when he was able to talk about the stories that he had, the fans were literally on the edge of their seat. And again, very welcome to the class 2026 as a member of or a recipient of the Pete Parisi Award. I believe we have one more inductee to talk about here, and that is Black Glove Butch Fletcher. And this was an induction that was very important to a lot of people in the crowd. For those that don't know, Butch has had a lot of health issues over the last few years, but to see him physically be able to walk up on stage after being inducted by Doc Lombardi, a man who has known Black Glove for years and years and years, it was really important to see both these men who at one time were, I mean, two of the most outspoken people in professional wrestling here in the St. Louis area. And to see both of them be able to share in this induction was really cool. Interesting note, too, if you watch the video, for the last time, as he said, and again, you never say never in pro wrestling, but Black Glove Butch Fletcher one more time putting on that black glove. And those that know professional wrestling, who've been around professional wrestling, saw that, and that got more than a few cheers to be able to see Butch Fletcher in his element one more time. I think we have one more photograph that was provided here. And if you look here on the screen, this is actually a pretty unique photo because not only do you have those that were inducted, but you also have several others looking back at the photograph. You have Big Jim Harris, you have Sadie Blaze, you have John Darty, you have Nikki O'Shaughnessy, you have several others as well there in the photo. I believe Pete Madden is in that photo as well, Ben Gennaro among others. This is what really strikes home with me when it comes to the world of professional wrestling and the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's an opportunity to see people who are able to go out there and recognize the history of professional wrestling. And as we see here, this shows that brotherhood, that family, that togetherness, that fraternity of the men and women who gave everything that they did to be successful in professional wrestling. And guys, I got to tell you, from top to bottom, it was a great night of professional wrestling history. A lot of great people were in the house. Mark Bland was in the house. Dr. J. King was in the house. We had several from SICW that were in attendance. We also had Mike Outlaw, a man who just the night before had lost the Midwest Throwdown Championship to Axe. He was there. We had representatives from CHWA. I mean, we had wrestlers from back in the day from promotions like CSWA, from MPW. I mean, you name it from top to bottom. We had Marcellus Knight and Phoenix Quinn from New Genesis as well in the house. Again, it was a great night across the board, gentlemen. And I can tell you right now, we're going to have a little more in the coming weeks. But I can tell you right now, Sunday afternoon, July 18th, 2027, will be the 2027 induction class. I know we're going to be having some meetings here in the next few weeks to start putting that together. One other thing also to bring up to your attention, if you had a chance to go to the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame website, it's going to be going an overhaul / a update here in the next few days. We're going to have the 2026 class being put into the digital version of the Hall of Fame. We're also here in the next few weeks, hopefully going to be able to have our merchandise section going up. They had this year, they had posters, they had pens, they had Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame pins, they had stickers, a lot of things that were available. And one of the things that was brought up and was mentioned in the Hall of Fame introduction was the idea that the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and thanks there, Tim. All kidding aside, we are now officially a 501c3, which means, according in the eyes of the federal government and everybody that follows the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, we 100% of the money that comes into our organization goes right back into the organization. Nobody gets a paycheck. Nobody makes money off the organization. It is that constant cycle, so to speak, in order to be able to have the opportunity to have things like the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies and have the banquets and the get-togethers and things along the line. Also, a couple of administrative moves when it came to the board. Nikki O'Shaughnessy, who was formerly our governance officer, is now the new assistant executive director to the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Cheryl McKnight was brought on as an administrative assistant to the board. We also have Patrick Brandmeier, longtime St. Louis historian, has officially joined the board as a historian. We also have Devin Alexander as our legal counsel. And I want to give a shout out, and I know nobody here on the Wrestle Talk podcast knows this just yet, and I'm going to go ahead, and for once I actually get to have something of importance. Us, if you can you hit the breaking news sounder if we got it? I know we've had a lot of things here. Can we or have something that can get... That's really cool, by the way. I hadn't noticed I know we had updated it, but that's really cool when you can actually see it live.
Yeah, that's neat. I was tripping out on that one now.
Yeah, you and me both. But just want to give you a heads
just
up.
made that.
Awesome. Again, another thing that makes the Wrestle Talk podcast the leading voice of the professional wrestling podcast world. Wanted to announce that the Night Owl, Renee Martinez, has been brought onto the board of the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame as well. He's got a variety of different hats that he's wearing within his role as a member at large of the board of directors. Again, he all I'm going to say is I can't share per se what he said to me when the vote and the announcement had come through. But again, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame is always looking for new individuals who've made their mark in the world of professional wrestling. And to give you an idea, too, for all the viewers of the Wrestle Talk podcast, for all the viewers and fans of professional wrestling in the Midwest and across the country, if you have suggestions, if you have your set opinion as to who do you think belongs in the 2027 Hall of Fame, you can make it a point on our social media, and our Facebook account has been very active as of late. You can make it a point to send us your thoughts. Who do you think should be considered for induction in the class of 2027? And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I know we got to go ahead and get moving here. Our guest is going to be here in just a few moments, but I do want to share with you right now, when we make the announcement, normally we would have the graphics, and we, oh, come on, man. I thought I was good. The Snitch is here, and now he wants to be locked in. Snitch, that's totally your own deal. I'm not even going to go there today. You're not going to ruin my good time. And as we look at right here, and that is one that, again, a lot of people were talking about at the Hall of Fame as well, was the late Angel of Light Izzy Blackwell. Is one of those that definitely needs to be looked at. Longtime friend of myself, of Tim Johns, among others, Susie Haas as well. Talking about Stephen E. I mean, again, you can see how quickly the names are starting to get thrown out. I do want to let you know, normally we would have the cool graphics and the videos and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to tell you right now that the 2027 Hall of Fame ceremony, this year we tried a few things. Again, growing pains, if you will. And I'm going to tell you right now, things work out, and we're trying to get a few things to paper, if you will. We're trying to put the names on the contracts, if you will. We're looking at it right now that we very well may be expanding the Hall of Fame experience. I can't go into much more detail at this point in time, but it's going to definitely be one. If you thought the Hall of Fame was good, we're going to have an opportunity here. Like I said, we had several promotions that were heavily involved with us this year. We also have a couple of different businesses that have been involved with us. It very well may become for 2027, it may become like a WrestleMania, the world experience of the entire week. And if you get a chance to go to the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame Facebook account, you can see some of the pictures from the event and all the historical artifacts that were on display, jackets and boots and tights and T-shirts and programs and promotional photos and championship belts and you name it, it was there. Again, that was one of the big things they talked about, the history exhibit of the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and it's growing all the time. Gentlemen, again, it's been a long time. I know people have been asking, where's Luke? Where's Luke? When's he going to be back? I'm going to tell you right now, everything's pretty much ready to rock and roll. In the next episode, you will see my wonderful, smiling, well, depending on how you want to go about it, happy, smiley, shiny face right back here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Guys, it's always an honor and privilege to be here. And again, in just a few minutes, we're going to have our guest here tonight on the program. But you know something, guys? I want to go ahead, as I depart here today, I want to go ahead and do an introduction. It's something that I know has been on your minds for a while. You've got a lot of things that are kind of running around in your brains. And we always want to make it a point to say what we have to say. So Hardcore Hoss, if we can get it ready, I think it's time for a little thing here on the Wrestle Talk podcast that we call the Wrestle Talk podcast Shoot and Shout segment.
It's just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fun, everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet's to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he says, she says.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Shoot and Shout time here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And guys, before I leave, I'm not even gonna shoot tonight. I'm gonna give a shout out to all of those individuals, not just in the St. Louis area, but around this planet. Whether you talk about here in the U.S. and Canada, Mexico, Japan, the UK, you name it. I want to give a shout out to every man, woman, wrestler, announcer, promoter, booker, agent, referee, manager, you name it. I want to give a shout out here tonight to everybody who has ever had the opportunity to step inside the squared circle. It's a very tough road. It's a very long and grinding and demanding road. But one of the things I got to say in 2026, everyone who's involved in professional wrestling has a reason why they are a part of it. They also have a place in the world of professional wrestling because they deserve it. They bring each and every time they bring it to the ring 100%. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who is past, present, and future involved in the world of pro wrestling, because that's what makes it such a great thing to be a part of. And that is the sport of professional wrestling. Gentlemen, with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys talk about your Shoot and Shout. We got a lot of things here still to come. I don't want to take any more of the viewers' time. Thank you very much for having me, and I will see you once again in 2 weeks right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Luke. All right, Ace, go ahead and hit us with your Shoot and Shout. I know you always got something going.
All right. Mine ain't so much as a shoot and shout as it is just a word of advice. If you do anything, just enjoy life. Really, just enjoy it. Take the time to write your books. Don't take work as the ultimate goal in life. Too many of us, life becomes a routine. We get up in the morning, we go to work, we come home, we have bills, we have dishes, life becomes a routine. Break the routine. Just break the routine. Go out of your way. Take time with your family to go do stuff that y'all normally wouldn't do. Enjoy a movie that you really wouldn't watch normally, or just do anything outside of the normal routine. Just enjoy life. Your job is going to replace you the moment that you're out the door. The moment that you say, hey, a matter of fact, before the ink's dry on your death certificate, they're going to have somebody else in your spot. So, I mean, who cares about work? I'm not saying not pay bills. That ain't what I'm saying. But just enjoy life. Just don't take everything so seriously when it comes to just, having to get up and work and just be a drone. Just enjoy stuff. Take the time to write a book. Take the time to just experience life. That's my shoot and shout.
All right. Well, and I think I'll piggyback off of that, Luke. Sorry, Ace. Too many names going through my head at the moment. But I'm going to piggyback off of that. So many people, they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or, I want to come see this person or that person. Make sure you do it. Don't wait until it's too late, because you put everything off, and next thing you know, it's too late and you just can't do it. So, don't put it off. Make sure you're doing what you really want to do, and just have fun with things, and just make the best of it. So that's that'll be our shoot and shout for the night. And I can't help it. I just recently found a drop that I had from a little while ago that just fits right along with shoot and shout. So I think I'm going to let one of FWWC's own have the very last word for the shoot and shout.
I'm still pissed off.
Oh man, that never gets old. I believe that's going to be, if something ever happens, that's going to be his last words.
I just had to play. I found that the other day, and I said, "Oh yeah, there we go." Oh
man.
But we do have our guest backstage. But just before we get to him, real quick here, we do want to acknowledge our great sponsors one more time here. So, as always, we want to thank our great and wonderful sponsors. We got Retro Zone. We got Painter's Dream Production, which is the one and only Perry, Big Daddy P. We got the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. We just heard from them. We have Doomed Outfitters, ran by this guy over here, Ace. We've got the World Domination Wrestling Alliance. You catch myself and either Dashing Donnie Diablo or Gavin Jackson every other Tuesday night when you don't see Wrestle, the Elevation for WDWA. And then, of course, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group, the FWWC. That's right. So, we couldn't do what we do without our great sponsors, and so we wouldn't be where we are without them. So thank you very much to each and every one of them. And we also have a thing called fan sponsorship. Feel free to reach out to us if you want some information and you want to be a fan sponsor, and we'll get you hooked up there as well. So, but you can reach out to us for more information on that. So, I think it's time we go ahead and we get our guest in here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to take the opportunity, if you don't mind, I'll hit the introduction here. So tonight we are joined by one of the toughest veterans in the independent wrestling scene with over 14 years in the business. He's built a reputation as hard-hitting powerhouse, known for bringing intensity, passion, and old school toughness every time he steps through those ropes. From championship victories, unforgettable battles across the Carolinas and beyond, he's made a name for himself, both inside the ring and through his work connecting with the wrestling fans. He's a wrestler, a podcaster, a man dedicated to growing the wrestling community. And the Wrestle Talk podcast family, be sure to buckle up, because The truck is rolling in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our show, the American Diesel Dump Truck.
That's right. That's what's up. Now, that was an introduction, man. That's what all of us need. Like, man, I'm going to do that at work from now on. I'm going to have Hoss just do his whole long, dragged-out introduction every morning before I go to work.
So, oh, I'm not hearing you there, truck.
Yep, I think you're muted.
Let's see. It doesn't show he's muted.
Man, Hoss cut you off. That's what it is.
So, I tell you what, we'll give you a second here.
Uh-oh.
Nope, still not hearing you. We'll give you a second here. You may have to go out and come back in, and maybe that'll fix it. So let's go ahead and give you a second and give it a try and see what happens.
He said he thought he hijacked the video feed again. Oh, well.
Snitch wouldn't do something like that. Not when I'm on.
Yeah.
You know. Can we hear you now? Nope, still nothing.
Oh,
Try
well.
going totally out of the studio and coming back in and see if that'll fix it. Okay, so so many.
You got to love technology. You just got to love it. See, I mean, it's great for stuff like this, but I mean, this is the risk you run. I mean, being on technology though, I got to ask though, what's your thoughts on like AI kind of stuff taking over is what they're claiming? What's your thoughts on the AI?
Yes.
I think AI has its place, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if it's used properly. I don't want to see it take anybody's job or anything, but I think it has its place, and it's probably advanced some things as well. So,
how long before you start seeing AI wrestling matches? I'm talking about, like everybody's watched the movie Rocky Balboa, where they had like a little AI match between Rocky and like the newer stars. I would love to see like an AI simulation of like Triple H versus Macho Man, or just something like that, and then that be an actual real show. They can make some money off of that.
I don't know about simulation, but it wouldn't surprise me if some promoters don't put their matches into AI and say, "Oh, here we go. This is the direction we're going."
Mm-hmm.
Can we hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I came through the StreamYard thing through the messenger, through the message you sent me. So now everything's like this big. I can't hardly see anything.
Tap the three
Oh,
dots.
wow.
So we're trying to make it.
Hold on. Go to the other three dots. Those. Says full screen.
No. This one's set.
Well, if they've got you and can see,
Yes.
can y'all see them and hear them?
We can see you in here pretty
we
clear.
see you fine. So
Okay, well then we'll just do this then.
And then I'll keep sharing.
that's all right, because I'm sure you don't want to see our ugly faces anyway. So the less you see of us, probably the better.
I'll keep sharing.
Okay, baby.
I love you.
All right.
Obviously, Truck, it's great to have you here, and thank you for joining us. We've been looking
Yes,
forward
sir.
to
Thank y'all for
talking
having
with
me. I'm honored and humbled. I've heard a lot of people. I've heard about Wrestle Talk, and everybody says anybody's got to get on there. So I mean, I'm honored. I appreciate it.
So, I guess where we'll start out here. Yeah, when you first came in, we were talking some things, and we had one question that we could see you in the back, and you seem to have
Logan
quite
Paul
the take on it.
belongs nowhere near professional wrestling. Tom Brady belongs nowhere near professional wrestling. All these rappers and these basketball players, I get it. The Knicks just won the championship out of a miracle. Da 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 da. Whatever. These teams that win championships all the time. That don't mean they flip over and go to the Atlanta Braves baseball game and be like, "Hey, I just won the basketball championship. Let me throw out the first pitch." You know what I'm saying? It just I don't. I hate it. Logan Paul ain't nothing but a YouTuber. Yes, he's putting in work. Yes, he's working out, training, all this. Everybody, wrestling is not for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody shouldn't be like, I get it if you're a kid and you go to a show and like, I want to be like him one day. But then don't get like 40 and be like, I want to be a pro wrestler. And all of a sudden go in there and take 2 or 3 classes and be like, okay, put me in a match. Give me a belt or give me a title. I'm ready. I'm ready. No, 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 please, no. See, I'm from the old school. I remember getting up every Saturday morning. And this is no lie, y'all. When I was 7 years old, I'd go to my nanny's house and watch Saturday morning the NWA. And with Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes, the Four Horsemen with Ole Anderson.
Yeah. The good old days.
Exactly. And I would sit there. This is how I learned how to do promos. I would watch Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA do these promos. 7 years old, and I would go to my nanny's bathroom and walk up on my little step ladder thing so I could brush my teeth, and I'd stand there in the mirror and I'd redo that promo at 7 years old.
Yep.
Till I was like 10, I thought that Arn Anderson was my daddy because my nanny told me so. And I told Arn Anderson this story one day at I think some kind of WrestleCon or something that I had met him. Him and Brock was there, and I told him this, and he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Son, back then I probably was." And the look I got from Brock when I told Arn, "Well, I want child support and I want the last name."
So, we can tell that you have a lot of passion for the wrestling business.
Oh yeah.
And
I do, man. I
You have
love
been-
this stuff so much.
you've been in the business for over 14 years.
Mhm.
What keeps that passion for the wrestling business alive today?
The fans. I tell everybody, all these wrestlers and everything out here, they've got fans. I don't have fans. I don't have a following. I have a family. You know what I mean? Like everywhere I go, it's just something. I connect with those fans, and I live my dream every day. My old lady, I've been with her going on for 3 years now, and we've been married for almost 4 months. And she let me quit my shoot job so I could live my dream and be a pro wrestler, and that's been one of the best decisions I ever made, was doing that. And people say, well, you can't make no living being a pro wrestler. I will. I'll show you. You can.
Oh yeah.
You can. And I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the people my family, the fans, they wouldn't even be no reason for me to be in this.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and not everybody is that fortunate, because I know guys that have come into the business and their girlfriends or significant others or wives, they've just been like, you're putting too much time into this, and
Yeah.
they just
Been there.
they throw a fit and they basically draw a line in the sand, and it's just I've seen it time and time again, and so not everybody's fortunate enough to find somebody to support
Yeah.
them the
This
way that you
business,
have.
if you're in a good stable relationship, you're gonna have to work hard at it because pro wrestling is really a single man's thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yep.
It should be. It really should. But because I mean, it's crazy. The stuff I've been through in this business in 14 years, like when I first got in, I was given like a million names. I mean, they was giving me to make me look like some kind of big monster and all this other kind of stuff. And then a promoter gave me the name Dump Truck to make fun of me because they tried to get me to get out of the business. They beat me. I mean, I got the hell beat out of me. Excuse my French, but I mean I did. I laid in pools of my own blood because they would like shoot on me, and I never quit because I knew in my gut I belonged. I knew it. They couldn't. Nobody in this world tell me any different. My mama, till the day they buried her, she begged me to quit wrestling. And I told her, I can't, Mama. This is what I'm made for. And she went to a show, and then she seen how the crowd was reacting and the kids and all that. For a long time, they called me the John Cena of independent wrestling. And I couldn't stand that. I wanted to go heel so bad. But I mean, that's another thing. I can't ever go heel unless I go somewhere that nobody knows who I am. They've never seen me, never heard a dump truck, anything. Because if I go somewhere where somebody has heard a dump truck and they see Jesse and they see the merch table, oh no, there is no way I ain't going heel. I'd have to split a puppy wide open or something sinister like that. I mean, it's
And
crazy, but
with
I've
all
loved
the
every
accomplishments,
second of this.
you've had over the years and all the places you've been and being in the business for 14 years, I think you'd have a hard time going too many places where they haven't heard a dump truck.
Yeah, it's hard. It really is. Like, I know this is crazy, and people gonna be like, "That's BS. That's BS." Me and my old lady go, and we went to like the Cracker Barrel and eat, or Dollar General to go pick up some toilet paper or something like that.
That's support right there. I love that. Look at that.
And there'll be a kid. I can hear him talking about, "Mama, I think that's dump truck." And I won't pay no attention. I'll tell her, "Come on, let's hurry up and get out of here. I don't. I just want to get in and out. I won't go home." I turn around and there's the kid right there with like a coffee cup or a piece of paper or something and or a Sharpie out of his mama's pocketbook, where I'm having to sign autographs at a Cracker Barrel or the motel we're staying at to go to the show, or when we're on vacation or something, we're eating breakfast at the motel, and there's like 6 or 7 kids walking up to the table wanting autographs.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, it'll bring tears to your eyes. I've sit there and cried because I mean, I just can't believe it. And that I've been so blessed and so humbled in this business to have experiences like that. And it's, I got cold chills and everything just thinking about it. It's crazy.
And
Man.
well, looking back though, over all these years you've been wrestling and everything, looking back at your very first match, what would Dump Truck today say to the dump truck in that first match?
Hang on, keep going because it only gets better. Keep going because there was at one time I was like, you know what, I can't handle it no more Because, I mean, there's only so many times you can go to the doctor and he tell you, if you get any more concussions, it's coloring books and crayons for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've had
Oh,
teeth
yeah.
knocked out, hairline fractures from my jawbone to my orbital socket. Both my shoulders have been torn out. Both my knees been torn out of socket. It's, but I still go. I still go. And I was almost 500 pounds. Almost a little over a year ago, I was almost 500 pounds. Asthmatic, couldn't hardly, they'd want us like 10, 15 minutes. I could only go 3 or 4, if that.
Yeah, and that's something people don't understand. I mean, they call it fake. There is nothing fake about the bumps. There's nothing fake about the injuries. Definitely nothing fake about the schedule and the athletic ability that you have to put into that kind of business. And for you
No, there's
to do that for so long, that says a lot about your passion for it. I mean, that's admirable. So
it's crazy. It's people that say, "Oh, I can't stand the F word." When somebody
yeah,
says fake to me, I'm like, okay, I tell you what. Let me pick up one of the folding chairs and let me smack you across the face with it. Tell me if that feels fake.
right.
And I'll even tell them, you know what? Before I hit you with it, feed the hand
That's it.
and tell me if it feels fake.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Well, then don't stand there and run your mouth about stuff you don't know about.
Exactly. It takes more. And we brought up the subject about, athletes, football players and stuff like that has transitioned over into wrestling. And even from somebody who's played both sports, I mean, I played baseball, I played football, even wrestled and all. To me, wrestling was so much more demanding. It took
Yes.
more out of your body. It took a lot more training and a lot more of just at being athletic than catching the ball and running down the field. And to me, that was what was so mind blowing about it, because I'm thinking I'm in great shape, man. I was a running back. I had all this, speed and ability. Got into wrestling, done it for a couple of years. And I mean, I was just so beat up from wrestling that I'm like, oh my God, I'd have went back to football any day.
Yeah. I'm mainly, I didn't really wrestle in high school. I played football
Mhm.
and I did a little bit. I partied too much when I was in high school. I chasing split tails, as my daddy and my papa would call it.
Yes, sir.
And then I got into wrestling when it was late. I was like 35 when I got in, and I hooked up with a guy, and he introduced me to James Hanby and a guy named Cowboy. That's all we ever known him as, was Cowboy. And he brought me to a flea market in Gray Court, South Carolina. And when we pulled up, none other Manny Fernandez himself was standing there, and that's who trained me, was Manny Fernandez,
That's awesome.
and he beat me like a redheaded stepchild. He had me at 400 pounds, 35 years old at 400 pounds. I was doing 10, 10, 10s. I was doing what's called hell, and, uh, 10 up and overs, 10 front bumps, 10 back bumps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it was like in a ring. It didn't have no canvas, no mats. The boards were so warped, they were up like that. And that's what I learned to bump in.
Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely something you want to get into younger. I remember my
Oh,
first
yeah.
first 2 nights of training. I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I remember just rolling out of the ring throwing up because he had us, running the ropes, doing the rolls, taking the band.
Yep.
I remember just throwing up so many times. He had buckets. We wondered what the buckets were for beside the ring, and he says, "Y'all fixing to use them in a minute." We're thinking it's part of the training exercise. They were there for you to puke in because you was going to puke several
Yep.
times.
You've heard of the Koloff dynasty, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Vladimir Koloff and Neil Koloff are two really good friends of mine.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's awesome.
Neil Koloff he helped train me a little bit too when I moved to another promotion in South Carolina and started going there. And he had me running TNT. He had me puking. I had to walk out on him. That's one time where my ego got the best of me, and I puked. And I was like, you know what? I don't need this.
That's it.
I'm
But
going home.
what
So
was that
I puked in
experience
the
like?
trash can, got my car, and went home.
Yeah. So training with them, what was that like? Because I mean, those guys had already kind of made a name for themselves. So I mean, training with them, I mean, what part of that was respect, and then what part of it was just being pure starstruck? Did any of that like interfere with like? I mean, because that'd be like getting trained by Arn Anderson. You're standing there like, hey, this is Arn Anderson. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I've took a chop from Dusty Rhodes before, Darren, when we was training, and to me, I bragged about that for the longest time. But I'll tell anybody, if you're dumb enough to take a chop from Dusty Rhodes, then by all means do it, because I couldn't breathe afterwards. But, you know, for me, that was just a huge accomplishment even during training. So what was that like for you, training with these guys?
Oh my God! When we pulled up, and I found out that I was going to be trained under Manny Fernandez of all people, I was like, dude, it can't get no better than this. I'm gonna be a beast in that ring. He's gonna show me how to wrestle like a big guy. I'm gonna get in there and start doing clotheslines and power bombs and all that. But then when we got in the ring and we met and shook hands, and he asked me who I was and all this kind of stuff, asked me why I wanted to be a pro wrestler and all that. And then he says, okay, are you ready? I said, yes, sir. What we doing first? And then that's when he started telling me run. And I run and run and run. And it was one of the hardest experiences I've ever been through. But I wouldn't trade it for nothing in this world.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't never get, when you get moments like that, you suck it in. You remember everything. And that's what I made sure I done. Because I soaked his brain for everything I could. And anytime I got around anybody, like I've been humbled in this business to do stuff like I've done vignettes and videos with like Damian Sandow and Santino Morella. And I'm friends with Buff Bagwell.
Yeah.
I never thought in
Good
a million years I could say that Marcus is my friend.
Yeah.
And I've been humbled and blessed in this business, and I wouldn't trade anything in this world for it.
Oh yeah. So you're at that stage now where you are the veteran. You are the one that people are looking up to you the same way that you looked up, that all of us had looked up to these guys here.
Some of the younger guys.
Yeah. So what is that like for you now being in that position? Because now you are what they say, you're the old guy in the business. You're the one that everybody's looking up to. So what advice do you give them? What kind of lessons and life?
I tell them just like they told me when I started: keep your mouth shut, your ears open, and just listen. That's the main thing. Listen.
Oh yeah.
And get custom gear. Don't come in there with some Nike shorts from JCPenney's and some of that, and tank tops from Walmart. Don't do that.
Well, we know a place they can get custom gear. We just
yeah. But yeah, mainly it's listen. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. You got this feel, and I know like when you first hear like the dump truck, you're thinking big, intimidating, and absolutely, give that vibe. But meeting you, talking to you, and just watching some of your matches and all, you have this big and I hate the thought because I know you hated it. You give the John Cena vibe. You give that carrying,
I've been told that a lot.
Yeah, you really do. You give that vibe, that passion for the business, and the love for passing that on to a younger generation. And that's something that is very hard to find, whether it's the indie scene, going big time, stuff like that. That's very rare. And I know people say you don't want to meet your heroes. You seem like the kind of people that people want to meet. And that's absolutely something you should cherish because, I've met some of these guys and I was very disappointed, but then I've met some of my heroes and was just absolutely blown away.
Yeah, I've met a couple of my heroes that I grew up watching, and I was disappointed about one or two of them. But then I met some of them that I'm blessed, and I'm glad I did. You know what I mean? Like we moved to Tennessee for a while, and I was up there with Ricky Morton and them, and I was with, let's see, it was Ricky Morton, and then there was Damian Sandow, Santino Morella, Kid Cash. And, I mean, those are some of the best guys I could ever meet.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they really helped me with a lot of stuff. Damian Sandow told me, he watched me do a promo, and he told me, he says, "You remind me of Dusty."
Yeah.
He said, "You got a lot of Dusty-esque about you." He
That's
said,
awesome.
"Use that."
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I've continued to use, well, at least try to use it.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
So one thing I've got to ask about, we've mentioned about how you've had so much success and you've won so many championships throughout your years, but you once held the SNEW Tag Team Championships by yourself for 9 months.
And
How did
defended
that
them.
come about?
Well, me and a guy named Riker were in the RWO. It's a spinoff NWO. Marking, I know. And we won the tag team titles. Well, all of a sudden he wanted to up and flip states and move to Florida and didn't tell nobody nothing and just left the title there. So instead of wasting my time going and looking for somebody to try to help me keep them, I just defended them by myself and was successful at it for 9 months. Was successful. I vacated them. I didn't lose them. I vacated them
That's awesome.
because I just couldn't do it no more. It hurt.
I can imagine.
Well, and you mentioned how you mentioned it hurt, and you mentioned some, that you sustained some injuries and stuff. So you're known for your fighting style and everything. Have you ever had to change your fighting style or anything to protect your body, or has it pretty
Yes,
much been the same over the years?
I've had to change it up a little bit, but I'm so hard headed that most of the time I don't ever think about it and I just go full blown. Like I would used to, like I had asthma like really bad, and I would go so hard in the ring and wouldn't breathe right and stuff, and I'd have full blown asthma attacks in the ring,
Mm.
and they would have to make, hey, take your inhaler, stupid, hit it, and I'd go under the ring, hit the inhaler, and then come right back into the match.
Man, that's dedication though. That really is. You don't really see that.
I mean, I love this business. I told my old lady when we first got together, she had experienced a little bit of the business, but not like the backstage, and everything like that. And I told her it's because she wanted to be like a manager, valet, stuff. I told her, she says, "What do I do?" I said, "Ice your heart." I said, "You've got to have an ice cold heart in this business because they don't care about how you feel. They don't care. They do not care about your feelings, not one bit." I said that it used to be that way when there was a brotherhood,
Yeah.
but it ain't been that way in almost 20 years.
Yeah, you're easily replaceable, and that's something else that's very challenging in the business. Is there's always another star ready to step up, and it's
Oh, yeah.
Well,
There's
and
always somebody ready.
you mentioned some of the changes that's taken place over the years in independent wrestling. So what's some of the biggest differences that you've noticed in independent wrestling over your years?
All the spot monkeys.
Yes. Thank you. I'm
How
glad
about
somebody said it.
you go to a wrestling show, promoter tells you, okay, you and him are going. You got 10 minutes. That's from entrance to finish. Okay? That means it's probably 2 or 3 minutes for each entrance. That means you got a good maybe 5 minutes in the ring. Maybe. I'm doing my Steiner math. But you got maybe a good 5 minutes to show out in the ring. And you want to call 57 spots in 2 minutes? Come on, dude. Less is better. The less you do, the better it'll look, and then the crowd will be happier. You ain't got to do 13 super kicks and 2 pile drivers and 15 body slams and come off the ropes every which way but loose, backwards, forwards, coffin drops, swantons. You ain't got to do all that in one match.
Thank you.
And it's mostly these younger guys that's doing this.
Yes, they're the and you know what I'm talking about. They're the wow guys. That's it. They're the wow
Yes.
guys. They wow the crowd, and that's it. They're a gimmick.
And
They
when they're
do-
done, they come back to the back and they got their hand held out.
Yes, and
Give me my
oh, man,
money.
I
And they
hated
don't
that.
want to help put down the ring or put up the ring, nothing like that. They come in while the crowd get their money, get a hot dog, and leave.
That's it. And it's bad. That's unfortunate. Now, I'm glad you said that because I've noticed that so many times because I still work with a lot of doing security and a lot of different deals with the wrestling deals, and I see it every day. These guys come in, do a whole bunch of high flying spots. The crowd's all into it. They come there and they just gone.
Yep.
And they act like the biggest stars in the business. And I'm like, come on now, really? You take away all that flipping, and what do you got? You have no character. You got nothing but a couple of flips. You can't even tell a story with the match. Your story is literally a backflip off on the 5 tables. Ooh, wow. Okay.
Their story is they got ADD and they didn't take their medicine. So
Thank
they're
you.
bouncing all
That's
over
what
the
it looks
ring.
like.
And
Yeah,
there's
I'm glad you
not
said
enough big guys in wrestling anymore.
That's it. No
I
storytelling.
mean, yeah, there's Oba, there's Brock, but I mean the big guys like the Road Warriors, Ming and Barbarian,
Yeah,
Demolition, stuff. Boys like them, they ain't enough for those big guys anymore.
exactly.
They put heavyweight titles on somebody that should be wearing a cruiserweight.
Yep. There you go.
Don't get me wrong. I am a huge Kenny Omega fan. I like Kenny Omega. I take that back. I like his wrestling when he was back in New Japan.
Yeah.
He is not a heavyweight.
No.
The Young Bucks are not heavyweights to have heavyweight tag titles. I mean, they put these heavyweight titles on these little itty bitty guys, and just don't make no sense to me.
I mean, it's in the name, heavyweight champion. I believe that it should be, with the big guys. I really do. I'm a big fan of the old
300
school.
pounds or bigger. That's the only way you get the belt.
Yeah. At least 260. I mean, because 260 is still pretty,
I'd say, about 250, 260 and up. Talking about 175 heavyweight champion. I eat that for breakfast.
Man, I couldn't hit 180 the whole time. I was trying my best, man. I was trying to hit 180, and it took years. I had to quit wrestling and slowed down before I even started gaining weight. So I didn't hit 175 and 180 until way afterwards. I'm like,
like I said earlier, about this time last year, I was almost 500 pounds.
Man.
I weighed myself last night. I am 296 pounds today.
Yeah.
And I can tell such a big difference in that ring. I'm running to the ring. I'm running around the ring. these little young cats want to jump around and do all these spot monkey spots and stuff, okay, go ahead, because I'm gonna catch you, and we're going to Pound Town because we're going to the ground.
Oh yeah.
I'm giving you one of the big barbarian power slams or the road warrior power slam.
Oh man, yeah, one of the big bear hugs, and it's over with for him.
Yes, sir.
So you're returning to CMW after a 2-year absence. Why returning now?
They made the paycheck look good. And after 2 years, they made that paycheck look good, and why not? I'm a I'm a title collector. I go to these different promotions, and I show out, and I leave with titles. And I went down there and to let them know that at the next show, I get my title shot, and I'm coming home with the CMW heavyweight title.
Shoot you. Hey, that works. Stand on business.
Yes, sir. My papa always told me, if you ain't gonna do it right, there ain't no sense in doing it.
Exactly. Stay home, and that's it.
And
So-
just like, let's see, when is it? August 29th. I'm going to talk to management at See No Evil Wrestling here in North Carolina. And I'll be going for the See No Evil heavyweight title also. I'm trying to be the face of North Carolina.
Shoot you. That works. I can see that.
So what can fans expect from this version of Dump Truck they haven't seen before?
Way more. I won't be laying on my back as much as before. I'll be putting them on theirs. Way more agility, way more passion. They gonna see it all.
We got people in the comments saying hashtag dump truck cleaning house. There you go. That works.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So with the passion and everything you have for wrestling, you actually started your own podcast.
Yep. Sure did. Alongside my wife, Jess, the Diamond Jessie Sky. We've got the Truck and Jesse show. We do it every Thursday night at 8 o'clock on my American Diesel Dump Truck page.
So how did that show come about? How did you decide to actually start that?
Well, when I first started wrestling, I've always liked watching the YouTube and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? If everybody else can do these podcasts and these videos, because I used to have a show, it was called just the Dump Truck Show. And I do interviews sometimes, or I do promos at different promotions and stuff like that. And then me and Jesse was talking one day, and we got this studio. I got studio equipment. I got ring lights. We got banner and stuff. Why not us start doing a podcast and talking to people about real life stuff, about wrestling, or if you need to come on there and vent, this is the spot to do it in. You know what I mean? It just getting out to people, because Jessie, she's a people person. I mean, she does all my business. She takes care of all my money, all that. And she's the go-to person for the people. Well, ever since I got with her, I've turned more into a people person. And she's been through some stuff. I've been through some stuff, and why not do a podcast and maybe help somebody out there? Like if something in their head is something going on, any way we could help. Talking about wrestling, talking about real life, or if, like I said, if you just want to get on here and vent and bitch and moan and groan for a few minutes, we go. This is the spot to do it in.
And has being on the podcast, has that changed the way that fans connect with you?
I believe they connect more now. They really do. Like we'll sit on the podcast and we usually go at start at 8 o'clock, and usually our cutoff time's around 10 o'clock. Well, if we've got 10, 11, 12 people on there, we won't cut it off. We'll keep going. They just keep coming, and we stay on there with them. We've had up to like 35, 40 people on there, and it'd be 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and we'll just be talking like we're sitting around at a bonfire or something.
Yeah, I can totally get that. There's been many times, that we've had a lot of people watching our podcast, and we've been having real good conversation, and you know we've just said, well, we just going to keep right on going, and some of them
That's
we've
it. I
gone
mean,
3 hours plus.
Hey, sometimes it's hard to,
that's what I
yeah.
say. Like I don't have fans. I don't have followers. Everybody in my circle is like family, and I like it that way. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel comfortable. I ain't got to worry about nothing like that, and I don't know. It's just the connection I get when I go to these different shows with these fans and stuff. It's sometimes it's unbelievable, but I love every second.
And
Yeah.
since you started your podcast, you're actually planning, I believe it's in September, the Family Slam Wrestling and Collectibles Convention. So
Yes, I
what
cannot
what
wait for
inspired
this.
you? What inspired you to start that?
Well, I love toys. I love toys. I'm a big kid. I mean, when I got with my old lady, I told her I'm a big kid, and she said that's fine. I love you anyway. And she likes toys too, and we've been going to some of these comic cons and stuff, and like doing meet and greets at them, and been making friends and at different spots in at the comic cons, and we figured why not do one for wrestling. And we just had like wrestling figures, like wrestling memorabilia, um, and of course like toys and stuff. But it just something to do to get people come together.
And actually, Jesse put in there it's going to be October 3rd. I had said September, so I misspoke. It's October 3rd that
See, and
you're
that's
going to
why
be
she
putting that
takes care of
together.
everything of mine because I know nothing.
It's
She
good that
has
we have
she's
these women keeping us in check because I'm the same way. I have
I'm
to call my old lady and be like, "Hey, when is my appointment?" I almost missed it this morning, and she's like, "Hey, how's your appointment going?" And I'm like, "What appointment?" And she's like, "You're not there." And I'm like, "Oh, so I must run out the door and get there." And yeah, so it's wild.
if it wasn't for Jessie, then I don't know what I'd do. I really because she's even like before we even came on here, a whole list of stuff. This is what you can talk about. This is what you can talk about.
There you go.
Well, and what can fans expect at the convention?
We've got well, of course, wrestling figures and memorabilia and all kinds of vendors coming in. We got a couple of surprise guests coming in. Pen hasn't met paper yet, but it's on the way. And those if when we get those people in there, it's gonna be crazy. Y'all come for a good time. There'll be good food there. There'll be vendors with toys and all that kind of stuff. And see some surprise guests there, and come by and see the American Diesel dump truck and his merch table and all that, and everybody come together and have a good time.
Well, it definitely sounds like it's going to be a good time. I actually live in West Virginia. I know he lives in Georgia, and I've got some friends though who do live down. Now they live in South Carolina. They were living in North Carolina. They live right around the state line there.
Oh wow!
So hopefully one of these times when I get down there visiting them, hopefully there'll be a show going on somewhere close by that maybe I can get over there and
Oh
and
yeah,
actually
you just let me know. I got you, brother. I promise. I got you.
I will definitely do that because I've been checking out stuff online and been checking out your podcast and checking things out, and I came across you on a poster one time, and I said, this looks interesting. So I've been checking it out ever since, and
Well, I
I definitely
appreciate
would
that,
love
man. I
to get
really
to
do.
I'd get to one of your matches live one day.
I appreciate that. Hey, you say that Ace, you're from Georgia?
Yeah, right here in Georgia.
What part of Georgia?
Right here in, I was born and raised here in South Georgia, right here in Tifton. Right here, probably about 2 hours away from the Florida line. But I moved up to North Georgia, right there in Helen, which is literally on the state line. You heard of Brasstown Ball, which is like, yeah. So I stayed right there for a couple of years, and
Oh,
plan on
okay.
coming back up there pretty soon. So
How close is that to Savannah?
oh, Savannah's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from here. It ain't that far at all.
Halloween, October 31st, I'll be in Savannah, Georgia.
Oh yeah. See,
I
I'm gonna have to come and see
love
you then.
wrestling. I love coming to Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Me and the old lady come to Atlanta for our honeymoon,
Yeah.
and I got to say, I was very disappointed.
You went to the wrong spot. Go to Helen, Georgia. That is where you need to go. It's right there in the mountains, and it's really right there on the state line. Right
Well,
there.
they still won't have no Atlanta Falcons gear.
Well, it depends. Now, I mean, if you want the Atlanta Falcons gear, you got to come further down.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought Atlanta
believe it or
would
not,
be the
further up
spot to
north,
get it.
I'd say about from Macon up is more just Atlanta Braves. Even though we're the state of the Falcons, it's more Georgia Bulldogs here. The Bulldogs is our team.
See, it's ever since the Super Bowl that
Yeah.
we got screwed in the Super Bowl, and now people don't want to acknowledge the Falcons.
I know it. We got this big brand new stadium that we lost our very first game, man, and that put a sour taste in everybody's mouth. And even down here in Georgia, it's hard to find Falcons merchandise. It's just you got to come further down to get it.
When we come to it, I told her I wanted to go to Atlanta for our honeymoon just so I could find me some Atlanta Falcon gear. We come to Atlanta, and they had everything: Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Hawks, all that stuff. They even had Alabama Roll Tide.
Oh man, yes, that was
and Florida and the Florida Gators, but not one stitch of Atlanta Falcon. I was like, oh, I went back to the motel room. I was I couldn't do it.
That's what gets me, man. I'm just so disappointed in the fact that there's not much Falcons merchandise here. And you see more of like Georgia or Florida Gators and stuff like that. Now, I'm proud of the Gators. Absolutely proud of the Gators. Or not the Gators, but Georgia Bulldogs. Ugh, I would never say that again. Y'all edit that. I never said that. Anyway, I'm proud of the
heard that. It was on live. Y'all heard that.
I'm proud of
We're going to clip it and put it out there for the world.
I vomited a little bit when I said that, but I'm proud of the Bulldogs. And yes, I'm still a huge Falcons fan. I just wish that they could have done something better. I really do. But yeah, if you want to come and take vacation, go to Helen, Georgia, and right there around the area, right there on the state line, coming way down from Tennessee, come down into Helen. It's a beautiful spot. It looks like a little Swedish German town, and everything there is just absolutely beautiful.
Might have to do that.
So, what is next for the American Diesel dump truck?
Oh, well, this weekend I will be in Gastonia, North Carolina at the VFW for See No Evil Wrestling. And Gemstone. My wife has a promotion called Gemstone Championship Wrestling. It's an all women's promotion. And it'll be this weekend. It'll be See No Evil and her show this weekend. And then from there, it's August, September, October. It's wrestling, baby.
Oh,
Now-
That's how I like it.
Now, Gemstone, there's a wrestler up here that I've seen you promote on your page, actually. And was that for Gemstone Wrestling? It was the great Sis Sasaki.
Yes. Yes.
I absolutely love her to death.
I love Sis.
One of the groups the group that I do commentary for is the World Domination Wrestling Alliance, WDWA, and she comes to WDWA quite frequently, and I absolutely love Sis Sasaki. She is great. We've had her here on the show before, and
Sis is good people. I met her when me and the old lady was living in Tennessee and going to the school of Morton. We was going to Chucky. Yeah, it was Chucky when they was down in Chucky, and that's where I first met Sis. And I love that girl. She is so awesome.
yeah, she is great. So, and so it's really cool that you've got her on your show there, and so that is a connection that we both have there. So that's cool. So, but Ace, do you have anything else here? I mean,
no, because I know you're fixing to throw me in the spotlight and throw me under the bus with this game show if he's up for it. I'm like 2-6 on this thing. I'm probably fixing to lose another one.
I'm down. I love a little trivia.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, let's go ahead, and we actually have a little bit of music here to key us off, just to kind of set the game show mood. There it is.
Y'all remember these old cups?
Oh, that's awesome.
Are those the McDonald's cups?
No, it was a store called Fast Fair. And it was for the Great American Bash, 1987.
That is so cool. That's awesome.
I've got Hawk the Road Warrior. I've got Nikita Koloff, Barry Windham, Ric Flair, and Ricky Morton.
That's so cool.
So, all right, welcome to this week's edition of the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls and feature Ace going against the American Diesel Dump Truck. In a few moments, I will give you information on 3 professional wrestling personalities. When you think you know who it is, shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 out of 3 falls wins tonight's game show challenge. So just shout out when you think you know it. And if you're wrong, you can continue to shout out until somebody gets it right. You don't have to all right. You don't have to wait for me to acknowledge you or anything. Just just shout it out. So tonight's Wrestle Talk podcast category is wrestling factions. We will give you the names of individuals that have been in a professional wrestling faction. When you think you know the faction that those individuals were part of, shout out your answer.
All
So are we clear on everything?
Yep.
Gotcha.
All right. Question number 1. Crush, Chains, Skull,
Nation
and
of
8 Ball.
Domination.
No, yeah.
What was that?
Nation of Domination.
No.
Oh wait. Shoot. What was they called?
Oh no, I know.
Go ahead.
They were in WCW for a while. Good God, what is the freaking name of that group? Cause they dang it.
Oh, I just lost it.
Me too. It was right there, and I was like, dang. See, my problem is, shoot. Say the names again. It was.
Was it DOA?
I will take DOA. It was Disciples of Apocalypse.
Yes, there you go. I was thinking this the Apocalypse, but I'm like, no, they was called something else. They wasn't called Apocalypse. It was something else.
All right. Question number 2. So that one went to Dump Truck. Question
That was a
number
good one,
2.
though. That was a real good one.
Kurt Angle, Sting, Kevin Nash.
Main
Hey,
Event Mafia.
The Main Event Mafia was correct.
Yeah.
Boom.
Dang it.
So technically, Dump Truck has already won tonight's challenge.
He's got he's got that one.
So I do have another question here. So how about we do this just to see if Ace can at least get 1 point on the board, or is he going to be swept for the night? So question number 3. Jay White, Juice Robinson.
Bang Bang Gang.
Bang Bang Gang is right.
There you go.
Ace has been swept.
In AEW, that's my favorite fact.
There you go.
Is the Bang Bang Gang.
We actually have a little bit of winner's music here. Ace, you've been swept again.
I know. I done told y'all, man. That is the results of way too many concussions. It does not. The brain to mouth connection don't work right no more. I'll have it in my head, but then it won't come out quick enough. And you're like,
I feel that.
So, Dump Truck, allow me to be the first to welcome you to our Wrestle Talk podcast family. It's been great to talk to you. I mean, I feel like there's so much more stuff that we could have went into, because we just barely scratching the surface on it.
Oh, yeah.
So, do me a favor, promise me that you will come back and talk to us again.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. Thank y'all for having me. I'm blessed and humbled. I really do appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
And maybe a little closer to October, we can try to get you back on, or at least for a little bit, and so you can plug some of the special guests that you're going to have for your festival there.
Oh man, I would like to see a collaboration show, because y'all do a podcast too. That'd be neat.
That'd be cool.
Like collaboration, Wrestle Talk with y'all, man. That'd be so cool.
I'd like that. That'd be cool.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be awesome.
And I'll keep an eye on your stuff. Maybe who knows? Maybe we can work some type of sponsorship or something for your festival. You never know.
That sounds good. I'll just if something like that.
Oh
Talk
yeah,
to Jessie about it. She's a smart one.
I'm all about merchandise, and if you hadn't caught on, I'm the owner of Doomed Outfitters, and what Doomed Outfitters is I make fully custom belts. If you can draw it out on a piece of paper, I put it and I make it into an actual heavyweight title. Whatever you got in your mind, I make it. So,
Oh,
and
don't
then
tell me that,
merchandise,
because I've been wanting a dump truck belt for I don't know how long.
hit me up. I got you. Hit me up. I
And
do merchandise. I do everything. So if you want
And-
custom ring gear, custom shirts, you name it, hit me up and I got you.
just to give you an idea, you heard us talking about our fantasy wrestling group earlier.
Yeah.
Well, he does our belts for our fantasy wrestling group. And this
Oh.
is one that he made. This is our tag team championship.
Oh yeah, us three need to sit down and have us a powwow.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is a real leather strap. It is not. Those are real snaps. They aren't fake. They aren't Velcro.
Real
That's
brass
real
plates
leather.
or zinc.
That is
Yep.
that is.
So let me ask you this: the wrestling up there, do you have to be licensed?
To wrestle here?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, because there's a promotion here, and I'll have to get. Would you just message me on that one? Because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to bring them up like that, obviously. But yeah, just get with me, and I can talk to you about a promotion around here that needs big names. They need it because they have charities all the time, and I do a lot of security with them and go, help promote them. So I'll get with you after here, and I'll get with you on that because Georgia's the place to be for wrestling. It really is.
Sweet.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Sis Sasaki can get you on a WDWA card here.
Well, see,
one
that's
day.
what I forgot. Yeah, you're in Georgia. So yeah, I know that Georgia don't need license. Do you say you're in St. Louis?
I'm in West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Do you need license in West Virginia?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure.
I'll have to find that out. I had to get my business manager. I know she's watching. I had to get my business manager on that to look that up for me.
Well, and like I say, you can always ask Sis Sasaki because she wrestles in West Virginia, so she'll know.
Yeah.
Because like I say, I do commentary for WDWA. I'm not an actual wrestler in West Virginia. I've never actually trained to wrestle anywhere, but I do commentary.
Sometimes I wish I hadn't.
And
I miss it sometimes. I do. I miss it. I'm just too old. I'm not trying to get back in the ring.
Yeah, so as commentary for WDWA, I'm not sure if they have to be licensed. I mean, I can find out, obviously. I
think
I
she
can
just
ask
found out
Gavin,
and told
but
me, yeah. I think she just told me, yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
So,
but yeah, Sis Sasaki, she can help you get all that figured out because, like,
yeah, I'm gonna have to go talk to my girl, see if I can get up there.
because from where you are, I'm probably the area I'm in is probably about 7 hours from where you are, maybe. Of course, that's driving. Like I say, I do drive down there from time to time. Because as a matter of fact, my friend that lives down there, she actually just moved out of Gastonia and into Rock Hill, South Carolina. She was in Gastonia, North Carolina, before she went back to Rock Hill. So that is the area that you wrestle in is the area that I tend to visit when I'm down that way. Other than also visit up around Cherry Point Marine Corps Base. My wife is from up that way, so.
Oh, okay.
So I do get around North Carolina a little bit, so definitely want to try to hit up a match, but you kind of let them in a little bit earlier as to where you'll be, but let them know one more time where they can find you at here recently or here upcoming, and also drop your social medias for them so that they can know where to find you on social media.
This Saturday, July 25th, I'll be in Gastonia at the VFW for See No Evil in Gemstone. August 25th, I'll be in Greenwood, South Carolina for CMW. The 22nd of August, I'll be in Shelby. The 29th of August, I'll be, well, that location's to be announced soon. The 31st, I'll be in Savannah, Georgia. The week of Halloween, I'll probably be in meet and greets at a haunted house called the Pyramids. We're going to do a meet and greet at a haunted house and stuff. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the American Diesel Dump Truck. I've got open dates in August, September, and October. Just contact Jesse at Jesse's Mindful Creations on Facebook for bookings or merch. And merch, y'all. We've got merch out the wazoo. I've got t-shirts, coffee mugs. I sell my own honey. My family's got a hive and everything, and they give me the rights and stuff to sell it. So I got hot honey and whipped honey and regular honey, and it's called diesel honey.
That's awesome.
And I sell honey. I sell honey sticks. 2028, I'm running for president. I'm gonna be a write-in vote for president in the 2028 campaign. And every Thursday night, we're on the Dump Truck page on Facebook Live on the Dump Truck and Jesse Show.
That's
You want me, you can find me anywhere. And
Well,
if I'm not somewhere where you're at, get a hold of me. And if the check's big enough, I'll be there too.
There you go.
Well, it's definitely been a pleasure talking with you, and like I say, we'll definitely have to link back up, and like I say, we'll see if we can't get you on to maybe drop some of those guests or something if you'd be interested in doing that.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good.
So, anything else there that you have, Ace?
No, I'm reading where Miss Jessie said we also sell Century toys for children and or adults with special needs. That's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome.
But and I've heard a lot of people have different merchandise and stuff, and some of the merchandise that people sell is just ingenious. We had one group on here called the Lumberjacks, and they actually at their merch tables sells the Lumberjacks Slam Jam Jelly.
That's awesome.
So that I thought that was quite ingenious, that they sold their own jelly. And I had them on the podcast, and I was talking to them. I asked them about it, and so after they got done telling me about it, they hit me up and said, "Hey, what's your address?" So I sent them my address, and next thing you know, in the mail came a jar of Slam Jam Jelly, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's cool."
Oh, we've got our honey on pre-order. We sold out of most of ours, and we waiting. It's on order now for my hot honey and my whipped honey. Those are two of my biggest sellers, is the whipped and the hot. So I might have to get you, when we get some more, I'll get your address and I'll send you some diesel honey.
Oh, all right. Well, that sounds good. So, anything else you'd like to leave our fans with?
Wherever you want to find me, look me up on Facebook. Please support independent wrestling, no matter where you're at. Whether you're over in California or up in New York or down in Florida or over in Texas or Mexico or wherever, support independent wrestling. If there's independent wrestling in your town, please support it. Buy their merch. Because look, these boys out here on this independent circuit don't get paid like them WWE and them AEW boys. They put everything's out of pocket. So please support independent wrestling. They work hard to entertain y'all and to fine tune their craft. because it's like just a job for this is a passion.
Yep.
You really have to love wrestling to do this.
Oh yeah.
That's all I can think about to say.
So, all right. Well, we absolutely appreciate it. Wrestle Talk family, what did you guys think of the American Diesel dump truck?
Thank y'all for having me. I really do appreciate it.
So thank you for being here, and we will be talking with you soon, I'm sure. So thank
Yes, sir.
everybody once again, the American Diesel dump truck. So Ace, episode number 548 in the books.
Yes, sir.
Another great episode, and it's been I guess much as a pleasure as it can be to be here with you, but then again, it could be worse. I could have had Gabriel Arsene again.
It could have been worse,
But evidently his watch completely stopped or something. I don't know.
Unfortunately, we're like that weird combination of oil and water that kind of mixes together.
But, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for stepping up. We really appreciate it.
Anytime.
And just any last words for our Wrestle Talk family before we get out of here?
No, just have a good week. Keep both of us in your prayers. We got stuff going on my end. They got stuff going on their end. We'll keep the Hoss family definitely in prayers, in the upcoming weeks. And, just y'all, we love y'all, and anything y'all need, let us know.
Well, we appreciate it. And of course, before we get out of here one more time, we want to thank our great sponsors. Thank you to Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Production. That's the one and only Big Daddy P. He didn't get to join us tonight. Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. They're doing great things over there. They just had their induction ceremony. One and only Doomed Outfitters. That's my man Ace right there. World Domination Wrestling Alliance and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. And, be sure to check me out next Tuesday on Elevation Podcast. Still working on who our guest's going to be there. And then 2 weeks, right back here, Wrestle Talk Podcast. Yeah, you'll see, you should be seeing Ace's Ugly Mug again. And
Luke should be back by then, shouldn't he?
And Luke Skywalker Roberts said he will be there.
There we go.
So, definitely don't want to miss that. And I believe we already have our guest lined up. We'll be talking with Pitt Freeman for that show.
Nice.
So, make sure you tune in, and just always a good time. And just thank you very much to each and every one of you. And if you're interested in becoming a fan sponsor, we do have fan sponsorships. Hit one of us up, let us know, and we'd be more than happy to get you all set up with a fan sponsorship. And so just have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.